I've heard of contractor nightmares, but this one might just take the cake. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a crazy story coming out of Houston, Texas, where half of a woman's power was knocked out by a new fence that she did not install, but she is responsible for fixing. And the number that they're telling her she needs to pay is $18,000. Now, before I get into it, let's go ahead and watch the clip. If you want to see it in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description box. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
What would you do if you were suddenly stuck with a huge bill, all because of someone else's mistake? Now, this could happen to anyone who hires people to do work at their homes.
So what happened here, a desperate homeowner contacted KPRC2 investigator Amy Davis when the contractors caused thousands of dollars worth of damage. And now this lady can't seem to get anybody to help. Amy, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. We all know that mistakes happen. They do, right? But when it comes to who is responsible and who should make it right, well, that depends on what side of the fence you're on.
My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. $18,000 is a really big amount.
That's a lot of money to anybody. $18,000, that's just not a small bit of change.
To me.
Bernadette Hagan is stuck with a giant bill. It started.
And you see her house. Let me just go back here. I'm not trying to make fun, but 18,000, this is a pretty modest home. Obviously, that's going to be too much. I mean, for anybody, even if you live in a really super nice house, it's going to be too much.
Bill. It started with this new fence. It's in her backyard in Kingwood, but she doesn't own it. Because her property backs up to public green belts, the fence belongs to the Sherwood Elm Grove Trail Association. The association hired a contractor to replace the fence last August. Everything seemed fine until months later.
So on Tuesday, December the 6th, I suddenly lost half the power to my house.
Several experts told Bernadette the same thing. The underground electric line was damaged during the fence install.
I said, well, that was a long time ago. And he said, well, this is what happens. He says, if you don't sever a wire completely and you nick it, then in about 3 to 6 months, it will snap. And you'll.
So let's be clear. So she did not hire the people that installed the fence. It was the association that owns the trail. They put the fence up because her property backs up to the actual trail. So they hired the contractor, not her. The contractor damaged the power line, and that knocked out half of the power to her house. But she is left with the bill.
You will lose the power.
And the kicker, repairs wouldn't be as easy as just replacing the damaged line.
My house is an older home. It's grandfathered into older codes. So in order for them to legally do the job, they have to bring the house up to code.
The repair total?
$18,293, which pretty much put me in a heart attack, but I needed power.
With no power, she couldn't wait. Bernadette financed the whole job.
Oh my gosh. So now she's in debt, $18,000, because finance, when I hear that, I'm thinking about it was a loan she took out. Now she's going to owe interest. So she'll end up paying much more than $18,293 or whatever the actual total was.
I don't have $18,000. I don't.
And when the repair crews dug up the line,
the wire is under the pole and cemented to the pole.
They told her this could only have happened when the concrete was poured for the new fence. In April, the fence company filed the claim with its insurance to cover the repair costs, but they denied the claim.
They called me and said that they were denying the claim because they felt that the line marker, that the 811 didn't mark the wrong lines.
The fence company never returned our phone calls, but Bernadette says a representative told her they explained to the client that they are not responsible for damage to any unmarked utility lines. But in this case, Bernadette is not the client. The client is the Trail Association.
Over 4 months has passed and there's no resolution. And I've spent most of that time reaching out to the Trails Association.
After repeated calls and emails, the association president told KPRC2 News they are actively working with the relevant parties to resolve this issue and settle any claims for damage caused by the association's contractor.
Let's pause right here. Really what should happen is the Sherwood Elm Grove Trail Association, they should pay the woman the money. And whatever they got to do to rectify the situation on their end, that's on them. That's between them and the contractor. But they should pay her because they're the ones that had the fence installed. So it should be their responsibility to take care of it. Now, if they feel like the damage was done by a third party, then they got to resolve it with the third party, however way they can. But she did not have the work done. It was them that did it. So if you do work or you hire a third party to do work that damages somebody else, ultimately you're responsible. Like, let's say, for example, I have a business and I hire somebody to do something, and then the person I hired damaged somebody else in the process of doing what I wanted them to do for me. Now I got to take care of whatever that is. That's just how that works. Or that's the way it should work. Now, as far as the legalities, I'm not really sure. But they should most certainly pay the woman and then figure out a way to get the money on the back end themselves.
I did reach out to a homeowner's rights attorney who told me it isn't clear whether the fence company or the trail association who hired them is responsible for Bernadette's damages. But he said it is clear that Bernadette is the only party who didn't take any action to cause the damage.
Right.
In hindsight, Bernadette says she wishes she would have taken more photos to show the utility flag markers she remembers in her backyard at the time. And if you're having work done, you should also ask for the names and contact information of contractors, even if you didn't hire them or you're not responsible for the work that they're doing. We have more information for you on this case and your rights when companies do work on your property. You can find that on clicktohouston.com.
There's so much, 2020.
Right, I know. It's
looking
always.
back, right.
But I think so many people have, for one reason or another, you'll find contractors in your yard or right by your yard and just kind of pay attention to what they're doing and why they're there.
Take that extra step, ask some questions, take some pictures or video or whatever to help you down the road in case you need it, right?
Exactly.
But the sad part of the whole story is that she's there, they're taking care of everything, and so she's just sitting in her house while all this is going on, and then you have this issue pop up months later, and then she's the one taking the fall on everything.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy. That most certainly shouldn't be what happens. So yeah, contractor nightmare. I could almost see if she had the work done, she hired the contractor, and then she missed some things, didn't tell the contractor certain things. I could see maybe they could be like, well, it's your responsibility. But she didn't do anything. They're just doing the work without consulting her. And because the land backed up to the association's property, the trail association, it was on there. It was like backed up to their property. So they did it. Again, it should be the association that settles with the woman, with the homeowner, to fix her problem. I'm sure they can raise the money. Because if they were able to hire the contractor to build the fence up and then to also maintain the lands and all that good stuff, if they have enough money to do that, then they have enough money to be able to pay her and then settle with the contractor amicably. That should be the way it is. You probably do with the same people to build fences and everything else. So if that's going to continue, all right, let's figure out a way to settle it. The insurance, let's go to court if we have to, and figure it out that way. But yeah, this is really crazy. They had some good advice at the end. They were like, hey, if something's happening in your backyard, even if you didn't have it done, even if it's not your responsibility necessarily to make sure that it goes well, at the same time it is, because they're on your property. So if they're damaging power lines, damaging whatever, down the line, you need to be able to have records that show that they damaged it, that it was their fault, so you'll be able to be properly compensated. Because a lot of these companies, the insurance, the trail association, they don't want to pay out. They're going to try to figure out a way to make you responsible, and it's not right. Because again, she did not contract them. She did not oversee this work getting done. It was not her money that went toward the actual fence being constructed. It was not her idea to construct the fence. You're talking about the trail association and their third-party contractor. It should be up to them to figure out whatever they got to on their own. But ultimately, since you hired the contractor and it damaged my property, you should be the one that pays me. That's my point of view, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Who do you think's at fault here? It can't be the woman who had no involvement with the fence. You think it's the trailer association? You think it's the contractor? A combination of both? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. Have you had anything like this happen to your home, to a loved one, where it's a contractor that comes in, whether they were hired directly by you or your loved one or your friend and your family, or it was another, like the city or somebody that hired a contractor and they damaged your property? What was the result? Do you have any advice to give to the woman facing this challenge? She had to go ahead and fix it because she has no power to half of the house. What are you going to do? Are you able to have air conditioning when it's really hot? Are you able to have heat when it's really cold? Are you able to cook? Are you able to live in your home with only half of the power? And then if the line is damaged, is there other damage that may come about later that may knock out all the power to your house? What is your advice for this woman? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.